Today's class we are going to see about we are going to start with Unix architecture, and as a part of that, first I am going to show you how to install Linux operating system on top of VMware. And VMware is a pretty simple tool, simple thing which you can easily install. There is no other option that you need to select. The moment you click on, you can just say, next and finish. The things will be solved there. And on top of VMware, we are going to install Linux machine. So the basic advantage of VMware, VMware is a tool, or the company which develops the tool. So the advantage of this tool is you can create a virtual operating system over the top of existing operating system. For example, like on top of Windows 7, if you are comfortable and you want to work on Windows XP, so even though your original operating system is Windows 7, you can still go and create a Windows XP operating system. So that means two operating systems can run at the same time. Now, in earlier days, we used to make the systems as dual boot. Like if one Windows 7 is there or one Windows XP is there, so we use it to operate any one of the operating systems. So if you log into Windows 7, XP will not work, or if you log into XP, Windows 7 will not work. But with the help of this VMware, we have the advantage of managing two operating systems at the same time, and even that has given the flexibility for Oracle practice also. So now how we are going to practice Oracle, or how we are going to do the installations and all, is through VMware only. So the same method you are going to follow either in the remote labs or in the machine where you are practicing, like in your home PCs or laptops also, you will be following the same thing, VMware. And VMware is one company which develops this product. And apart from VMware, there are so many other softwares also available in the market. Like Sun Microsystems is having something called VirtualBox. And when Sun Microsystems was acquired by Oracle Corporation, now Oracle Corporation is having its own virtual machine software, and we call it as a Oracle VirtualBox. And like that, HP is having its own tool, or IBM is having its own virtual operating system tool. So, but the very widely used one is VMware. It is very easy to configure, and also that's the main reason. And right now the version that is going on is VMware 9 or 10, I believe. And this is a licensed software, so you need to purchase a license for that. But in our case, what we are doing is we are going to use a cracked version, and the version is VMware 7. So we are not going with the latest version. We are just sticking to the older version. And if you want to download the latest version, you can download it from vmware.com. So I'm just pinging the URL in chat window. So from this URL, you can able to download the latest version. And as I said, that will be an evaluation version for 30 days. So after 30 days, if you want to use, you need to purchase a license. So I am going to show you how we are going to do Linux installation on top of this VMware. Now first let me initiate. Hope everybody can able to see my screen. So anybody is having any issues in watching my screen? Okay. So first let me show you, how we can proceed with VMware installation. So this is the software, or this is the folder that we have the software in place, and this is the one, VMware Workstation Full 7.0. So this is the software. So if you double click on this, it will start the installation process, and you can just, as I said, you need to just say next, next, next and finish. So nothing more is required to do that. And even you don't require to apply any crack serial version and all. So it can be, automatically picking up the things. So you don't require to do any extra effort over there. And how this software will be shared to you, I am going to upload this software to RapidShare or any other site, and I will provide you, I will send out the link to you through email, and you people can download that software, and from there you can do the things. So I am uploading the software now itself, just to avoid any inconvenience. Okay, yes, I am uploading that to Google Drive, and I will be sharing that with you people. You will be getting request to your email IDs. From there, you can download that. So let us go back and look into the things. So once you have completed your installation of VMware, then you will be getting an icon like this. So everybody can able to see my screen. Okay. So once you complete your VMware installation, you will be getting an icon like this. So once you double click on this, So first time it will open a window like this, and here you can see an option called new virtual machine. So the first option. Yes, Sanjay, I am going to upload including the serial number, but usually it won't ask you for serial number. So you don't require that, but I am just giving that on a safer side. Okay, so once you double click on the icon, here you can see something called new virtual machine. So you need to click on this and go for next. So now, while you are going to create this virtual machine, so creating new virtual machine is nothing but creating new operating system. So if you are having your Linux software on a disk, then you can select this option, the first option, and you can insert your DVD-ROM into that, and you can do the installation. Or you have third option that you can install operating system at a later point of time, or you can install through something called ISO image. So what we are doing is basically we are converting the content of CD-ROM or DVD into a file called ISO file, and using this file we are going to do the installation. So if we are going with the second option, usually that is what we will be doing, and click on this browse button and point to the location where you have your software. For example, in my case, my software is available in this folder VMSW, and under that this is my ISO file. So I need to select that ISO file and click on this open button, and now you can see a message here, Oracle Enterprise Linux detected. So if your ISO image is correct, then you will be getting this message. Suppose your ISO image got damaged or the file got corrupted, then here it won't show you that message. So this is what you need to do, and click on next, and you need to select virtual machine name. So you can take any name. For example, I am taking my name for the virtual machine, and now you need to choose the location also. And for this you need to make sure that you are having at least 60 GB of space available in your hard disk. Suppose if you are doing in your home PC, then at least 60 GB should be available on the disk. So here, out of all these drives, you can see E drive is having maximum amount. So what here I am doing is I am browsing that and I am pointing to E drive. And under E drive, if you want, you can create a new folder. Here you have an option, make new folder, and you can create folder and you can keep under that. So for example, like, so I am creating a folder PawanDBA VM. So, and under this I will be having the machine name as PawanDBA. So this is what you can do, and click on next. And here the disk size you have seen as 20 GB, and as I said, it should be minimum of 60 GB. So just change that to 60 GB and click on next. So now everything is ready, but before we do the things, we click on this customize hardware button, and here you can specify how much RAM size you require for virtual operating system. For example, your total RAM size of the PC or laptop is 8 GB, then probably you can give 3 GB to the virtual machine, and the rest 5 will be there for the original operating system. So here also I have 8 GB, so that's the reason I am taking 3 GB as the limit. So somewhere like this. And if you have dual core machines and all, you can even go and increase this value also. Like I am changing the number of processors here. Okay. So it is basically to change the RAM size and processors. And one advantage for us is you can go and change the RAM size or the memory size whenever you require. Suppose now I am giving 3 GB, and at a later point of time if I feel that 3 GB is more and I want to reduce that, yes, VMware will always give you the option to reduce the size also. Or if you feel to increase the size, even you can go and increase the size also. So all that options are there. And another one which is important is this network adapter. So here network adapter by default it is pointing to NAT, you can see here, but it should be changed to bridged networking. So don't select NAT, please do select bridged networking and click on OK button. So once you do that, click on finish button, it will start the new virtual machine. But well before that, there was a question asked by Sanjay. What is mean by single file? In the sense, Sanjay, whatever the hard disk size we have given 60 GB, that will be created as a file. I will show you that. So here you can see the folder is right now empty because I have not yet completed the things. By the moment I say finish, you can see one file got created here. Okay, so all these files got created. So this file is the one which will span across to 60 GB. Now if you don't store it as 60 GB and if you go for an option called split into 2 GB files, then each file you will be getting, because I said 60 GB, you will be getting 30 files with 2 GB each in size. So it is unnecessary to go for 30 files. So it is okay to go for one single large file. Okay, so this is the first screen of your Linux operating system installation, and here you can see some pop-up was there, like I finished installing, change this can help. So click on I finished installing. It is nothing will happen because of that. Just a minute. And here you can see different options are there, like to install or upgrade in graphical mode, press the enter key, or to install in text mode, type Linux text, etc. So we are always interested in graphical installation only, so that's the reason we need to we need to hit enter button. And one more thing is, when your mouse is there under virtual machine, then you cannot access anything on the current existing operating system. Or when your mouse is there in the current machine, you cannot go for virtual machine. So if you want mouse to be accessible in both the virtual machine as well as the current operating system, then we need to install something called VMware tools. So later I will show you how we will be installing VMware tools. First let us complete this one. And now on the screen you can see one message that it is going to do something called media test. And please never do media test. Media test, what it will do is it will check whether each and every file is available for installation or not. So if you start that, the next 45 minutes to 1 hour will get wasted only for testing. So that's the reason better skip that installation. Skip this media test. And this is the first screen of Linux installation, and you need to click on next button here. Then here it will ask you what language you would like to use, so obviously English. So again next, and what appropriate keyboard you are using. So we are based on US English keyboard, so we are going to select the same. And for people who don't know, keyboards will be different in different countries. If you go for German, there the keyboard will be different. If you go for Japan, the keyboard will be different. So what the keyboard usually in India and most of the abroad countries we use is US English keyboard. And this is the third screen. Do we have anyone who don't have knowledge on XP installation? Or everybody is aware of XP installation? Or at least any other operating system, not only XP, any operating system. So why I am asking this question is, usually when we are doing this operating system installation, we need to partition our hard disk. So for every operating system installation, this is a mandatory step. So here also we have that thing. So you can see two options are available: automatic partition and manual partition. So we are going to do the manual partition. We are not going by automatic. So do select manual partition and click on next. So it may give you a warning saying that all the data will be erased. That's fine. So click on yes. And whatever the 60 GB of file you have selected, you can see that now as a free space. So what you are going to do is, you are going to create multiple partitions for this 60 GB. So to do that, you can click on this new button, and under mount points, that is the first option, you need to select this slash button. And usually this slash in Unix is going to represent it as root file system or root mount point. Now the term file system or mount point, we can change, we can use that as a synonyms. And what is that mean is, in Windows we call it as C drive, D drive, E drive. So instead of drive, here we are going to call it as mount point or file system. And as I said, slash in Unix is represented as root file system, and this root file system size, you need to give it as 10 GB. So the size there mentioned is MBs. So 10,000 MB is equals to 10 GB. So that's the reason we need to put down the value as 10 GB over there. So once you have given 10 GB to this mount point, click on OK button here. And now you are left out with 51 GB. So you need to create that another partition. So the second one, what you are going to do is, you are going to this file system type, and click on file system type, and you will be seeing something called swap here. So you need to select the swap, and you need to provide the size, and always the swap size should be double the size of RAM. So while beginning, if you remember, I have given 3 GB as the memory size. So my swap area should be 6000 MB, which is equals to 6 GB. So that is the standard we follow. Always swap area should be double the size of RAM. And now you have left out with 45 GB. Now again click on this new button. Now we can define our own file systems. Like after C drive, D drive and all, we can go and use E drive, F drive and all. So our own defined file systems or drives. So just like that, here also we can go for our own things. Like I can give one file system name as Pavan, another file system name as Kumar, etc., etc. But usually what the naming convention that we follow in real time is something like /u01 or /d01, etc., etc. So that is the reason here also I am following the same naming convention. So we need to say /u01, and size I am giving it as 15 GB. And click OK. Now I left out with 30 GB. Again I am clicking on new. Then I am selecting, I am creating another file system as U02, and this one also I am giving as 15 GB. And the third one I am creating another one, so that also I am taking it as 15 GB. So anyway we left out with 15 GB. So what here I am doing is I am selecting the third option here, fill to the maximum allowable size. So I am selecting that option and click OK. So now you can see your entire 60 GB was occupied and there is no free space left out. So once you do, so this is how you are going to do the partitioning. So once you do that, click on next button here. And here we don't require to do any change, so click on next. And here you need to provide the IP address for the machine and all those things. So how you are going to provide IP address, I am going to show you. For example, you need to go here and click on edit and uncheck the first option. So here the first option is like configuring using DHCP. Don't select that option, just uncheck that option, and you need to come back to Windows OS. And now your mouse cursor is there on the Linux operating system, and if you want to come back to Windows operating system, you need to press Ctrl Alt. So here also you can see, if you want to go inside VM, then you need to use Ctrl G. If you want to come outside of VM, you need to use Ctrl Alt. And now what I am doing, I am opening command prompt and I am typing ipconfig. So when I type ipconfig, I will be getting some IP address information here. So I need to use similar things over here. For example, my Windows operating system IP address is 192.168.1.3. So what I am doing here is I am using like 192.168.1. Let's say 18. So I am using like that. And subnet mask, we don't require to change anything. So whatever the value you are seeing here, 192.168.1.3, so keep the first three things like 192.168.1. So keep those three things as it is, and only change the last position, the fourth position. And the subnet mask, you are going to maintain the same, like whatever you are seeing here, you need to give the same. And once you do that, click on OK button here. Then you need to provide some host name for the machine. For example, I am taking like pavandba.karnatechnologies.com. So I am taking a name like that. You can give any name over there. And then gateway. Again, gateway, like you have your gateway over here. So you can see here. So you can use the same gateway over there also. So I am taking the same gateway, and the primary DNS also will be same as gateway itself. So these are the changes that you need to do. I couldn't able to get Sanjay. Like, what's the question? Yeah, in IP address I have given it as 18. So as I said, the first three digits should be same. Like here I have 192.168.1. So in Linux also I should give the same thing. Only the last number should change. So what we mean to say by this is, we are making this Windows machine and the Linux machine to come into the same network. If they are not in same network, then you cannot do practice of Oracle or all those things. So basically why we are doing all these things is to bring down this Windows machine and to Linux machine in the same network. Now for you it will not be 18. For you need to check what is there in your Windows machine. So go to your Windows command prompt and type this command ipconfig. And whatever you are seeing the value here, you need to accordingly change in the Linux machine. So for each and every person it may be different. You need to verify that through ipconfig. So is that fine? Okay. So any others having any queries? Yeah. So if your IP address is like 192.168.1.114, for Linux, what you can give is 192.168.1.115. So here you have 114. You can give 115 immediate number also. Here I have just taken 3 and 18. You can go for 114, 115 or 114, 120, whatever, it could be any number. Yeah, we need to change only the last number with our choice. You can take any, the last number you can take any choice, but the first three numbers should be compulsory same. Okay. So any others are having any queries here? Because it's important, guys. Because if this was not done, of course, after doing the installation also we can rectify the issue, but still, it's better to resolve now itself. Okay, so once it is done, no Sanjay, only for subnet mask and gateway, you are going to use the same value what you are seeing in the here. Here, whatever the values you are seeing, the same values you are going to provide for subnet mask and default gateway. Don't change any value over there. Only for the IP address, that too the fourth or the last number you need to change. So once we are done with that, you need to click on next here. And here go and select no firewall. So usually we will enable firewall for to avoid any malware or spyware, something like that. But Linux is almost capable of fighting against the fighting against the virus and other malware, spyware, etc. So we don't require firewall to be enabled. And moreover, if you enable firewall in future while doing Oracle practice, there is a concept called DB link. So we cannot practice that database link if we have this firewall enabled. So that's the reason disable that now itself. And once you click on no firewall, here click on next. It may give you a warning saying that firewall is recommended and all. So just click on proceed. And language for accessing, it will be US English. Then here you need to select the time zone. So because I am based out of India, so I am selecting a time zone near to me. So that is Asia, Kolkata. And next, just like in Windows how we will be having administrator user, in Linux also we will be having a user called root user. So root is nothing but the super user of the Unix operating system, and while installing itself you need to provide the password for that user. You can give any password of your choice, but password should be a combination of characters and numbers. You can't give all numbers and you can't give all characters. It should be a combination of numbers and characters. So once you provide that password over there, click on next. And here you need to select the second option, like customize software packages to be installed. So just select that option and click on next. And here if you scroll down, on the right hand side you can see a scroll down button. So once you click on that, so once you come to end, you will be seeing something called everything. Under miscellaneous, you have an option called everything. So you need to select this one. So the meaning here is, when you select everything, you want to install all the features of Linux. And why we are doing this is because we don't know which features will be supported by Oracle database and which features are not supported by Oracle database. If you want to get that list, then you should become a Linux administrator. Because we are learning Oracle DB and we don't require to learn Linux administration now. We are going with everyone. We are going with everything, and then click on next. And once again next, and that's it. It will start your installation process. And once your installation is completed, then at the end of the installation it will ask for a reboot, and just go for a reboot, and your Linux installation is ready. Now one thing I want to highlight here is, whatever the way that we have seen Linux installation may be different in real time. This installation I have shown you is purely for our Oracle practice. So if you want to install Oracle on top of Linux operating system, that too on a home machine, how you want to install, I have showed you that. When you go to real time, some extra steps may be there, or some extra content may be there. So this is how we are going to do the Linux installation. And you people can also access video from my blog. So there is a video available for this. Hope everybody can able to see the screen now. So if you go to my blog, pavandba.com, we have a link called video tutorials here. So hope everybody can able to see that. So once you click on that, you have several videos. First video is to install VMware on Windows 7. So I have not shown you that, but if you want to watch that, you can just go through this video. So this video will tell you how to install VMware on Windows 7. And the second video will show you how to install Oracle Linux on top of VMware. Like the exact steps what we followed will be there on the video. And then you have installing VMware tools on OEL 4.7. OEL stands for Oracle Enterprise Linux. So we will discuss more about that tomorrow. So tomorrow I will be showing this one, how to install VMware tools, and followed by we will be proceeding with the theory part of Linux. So anyone is having any queries? And usually with 2 or 3 GB RAM, this would take around 30 to 40 minutes of time to complete. No problem, we don't require to set any path. Even I am not well aware of that, Pallavi, because even I am not a Linux administrator and we are least bothered about that. So don't worry about those things. And upload was completed. Let me share you the link from where you can download it. Okay guys, please check your Gmail. I have shared this VMware software with you. So just check it out if you people can download that. So I have shared through Google Drive. So you might have got a link. So just click on that link. It will take you to Google Drive. and from there on the right hand top you have more option there. From there you can download it. So I request everyone to just give a try and let me know if you have any issues. So are you guys checking in? Because I have not got any response.